Meta Athena during Apex Season 2 was just a different team. Their style, the heroes they use, their interest in not only playing, but thinking outside of the box, opened our hearts to a fantastic underdog's tale. And two pillars of that team drifted away before we even got to see them play on an Overwatch League stage. And for this week's Alternate Overwatch History, we're going to explore what might have happened if Libero and Sayaplayer had stayed together and joined the Overwatch League in 2018. For those who don't know, or for those who weren't around to watch the absolute magic that Meta Athena performed on a daily basis,
they're just trying to isolate a target right now and see if they can get them to commit into the stairwell.
That's the plan. No. Whoa, whoa.
Okay, this is going to be a long flank, actually.
Very long. The payload is not over there.
It's okay. They're going to try and take the high ground. Oh,
Yeah.
They're going to boost on top of the high ground?
What is this? What is this?
I love you,
What
Meta
is this?
Athena.
Meta Athena coming down. Lutakai has no idea they're coming from this angle.
this was a team in the Apex era of Overwatch who rose up through the ranks, was this rookie team who joined in Apex Season 2 and almost won the entire event, peaked at that point, and then kind of struggled in Season 3 and Season 4, which ultimately led to the Sayaplayer and Libero split. Libero obviously going to New York and having a fantastic career and still succeeding to this day, and Sayaplayer joining the league a little bit later in Stage 2 with the Florida Mayhem. A team that which, you know, it wasn't insanely good. But in this timeline, Libero isn't drafted to New York and is instead left behind in South Korea and continues to play with Meta Athena for the first season of Overwatch Contenders in 2018. Due to the team's poor placing in Apex Season 4, where surprisingly enough, Meta Athena actually placed last in their group. Going into 2018's first season of Contenders, here, Libero would actually replace infamous DPS Arhan and help lead Meta Athena to a second place finish above MVP Space and their sister team, Meta Bellum. Instead of just rolling with the boring narrative that they could have continued forward into history and joined the Florida Mayhem together, let's try to spice things up a little bit. There was another team at that same time period that entered the beginnings of the inaugural mid-season looking for talent, and that team is the Dallas Fuel. What if the Dallas Fuel wrangled together Meta Athena's legendary DPS duo? I'd imagine after doing well in Contenders trials, the duo would have certainly popped up on people's radars, and whether Dallas scouted them early or not, they would have gotten word and put in a bid. With effects starting to show signs of fatigue, Dallas would act swiftly and spend the budget they would have spent on signing Rascal to scout Libero and Sayaplayer and then eventually sign them for the inaugural season. Now, I'm picturing this duo is signed but doesn't arrive until about the same time Sayaplayer would join the Florida Mayhem in our timeline, so they wouldn't have been able to assist the Fuel until around Stage 2. And I've got to temper expectations a little bit. Not everything about this trade is peachy keen. The Fuel still have just signed 2 South Korean players to their first mixed rosters. They also bear most of the weight, being considered to be the band-aid fix for the Fuel's rather poor start to the inaugural season. This doesn't completely sour the deal inherently, but things might be slightly complicated, especially early on. Now, using a little bit of hindsight, we can start to sweeten this deal up a little bit. What makes this a little bit more interesting is that Sayaplayer and Libero have both shown to have massive shoulders for pressure like this. For nearly 2 seasons, Libero has been the unsung hero of NYXL, even playing Widowmaker for them and doing well against some of the best players in the world. And Sayaplayer was signed to the Florida Mayhem in a similar circumstance that I'm proposing in Season 1. He was new to mixed rosters, he was viewed as a band-aid fix, hell, he was the key to Pandora's box in Mayhem's eyes. And while they completely didn't change their fate with Sayaplayer, he still managed to show a fantastic performance when he was on stage. Do Libero and Sayaplayer reimagine how we think of the Dallas Fuel in 2018? I certainly don't think so. If anything, they would have been marginally better. While great players in their own right, I don't think this alternate universe solves the Fuel's coaching dilemma and their very volatile roster moves with players like XQC, OGE, and Effect being sidelined for a time. But in the long run, in 2019, I think the Fuel could see a bit of a rebirth. Libero gives them a consistent flex DPS that can really contend with some of the best players in the world on a number of heroes, and Sayaplayer echoes that same consistency, albeit with a little bit less flexibility on the other side of that DPS coin. Now here's a graph of some of the most played heroes in Overwatch League Season 1. Imagine if, for most of the season, we got to witness Sayaplayer's Widowmaker and Tracer, both of which are insanely good, next to the flexibility and diversity of Libero. Barring any backstage nonsense, this duo in Season 1 would have actually been world class. If Libero and Sayaplayer stayed together, they could have easily gone down as one of Overwatch's most successful DPS duos, and I really don't have any doubt in my mind that that would have happened. Both subjects in this discussion are threats in their own right on their own signature heroes, and take a ton of attention to be properly dealt with. In a vacuum, they'd be an absolute blessing to many of the upper middle of the pack teams in the league now, even as we head into the 2020 season. Last but not least, I want to give a big shout out to Shenanigans for a stellar idea. I love Meta Athena and enjoy talking about them every chance I can get. So if you want to see your own comment here, leave a suggestion down below and let me know what you'd like to see next week's episode feature. All right, enough rambling from me. It is far too late, and I want to thank you all for watching and putting up with me for so long. Cheers for the last episode of 2019. I will see you all in 2020. Please check out some of the past decades alternate Overwatch histories and follow my thoughts if you like what I have to put out and like what I have to say on Twitter. And I will see you all in the next video.